as I was watching this, I'm like, this is Dead by Daylight.
Whoa, you did it.
Yeah.
You made the connection.
Yeah.
It's okay. I recognized the one house, the Myers house, and I went, oh, that's the map in DVD. So I was like, yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
The boogeyman. The boogeyman's out there. Shut up, Jimmy.
Yeah, and then my intro, I was thinking about it while you were doing yours. I purposely put on one of my shirts that is Halloween-ish. It's a band put out Halloween merch and someone bought it for me. I did meet the lead singer of this band, and I was wearing the shirt, and he was like, that's supposed to be me. Isn't the graphic messed up? I was like, this is you? He's like, yeah. He had many empty beer cans with him, so that was the extent of the conversation. But yeah, it is a new month. It is, for us, it's not October yet, but for you listeners,
it is fall.
It is feeling like it. And you said officially today, right?
I believe so. At least it was on one of the calendars that I looked. I can look it up real quick to make sure.
Sure.
When does fall start? Tomorrow.
You've been lying to all of us.
Yeah.
How could you?
White man privilege.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, so we are continuing our 12 directors. This month for October, we set it out to be John Carpenter. We're not watching his movies in order because the Halloween movie that we really like, not to be confused with the title of the movie we watched this week,
Yes.
we saved that one for last. If you are a fan of this director, maybe you can guess already what movie it is if we're not watching Halloween for Halloween. But yeah, I think it was a nice change to have a movie where I could turn my brain off and enjoy it. Not in a negative way, but in I don't feel like I have to do hours of research to understand what I just looked at.
True. Yeah, it was nice. Like, I don't know, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know. I think, like, not to go back and talk about David Lynch, but I think I do appreciate some of the things he did because it's like, I can't really say any director, especially the ones on our list, or any other ones that come to mind that isn't trying to mimic him, that is so far like, no, there's no doubt that you're watching a movie by his. I think probably the only other one off the top of my head with the list would probably be Wes Anderson, like for style
Okay.
choice. Like I think Spike Lee, like he's got certain edit cuts and stuff, and like, but like Lynch is just like, okay, you're there, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I'm not comfy.
And if you weren't comfy before, you're gonna stay uncomfy.
Yes, but we're here to talk about John Carpenter, and I forgot to look up what his directorial style is.
Oh yeah, it's been a little while because last month was a 5-movie month.
5-weeker.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love it when a headline says 5 signature elements. Oh, and I hate when it blinds me. Of John Carpenter's filmmaking style. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before I read this, or?
Yeah. I agree with you. David Lynch has a very particular style, and I can see why people are fans of his movies. Maybe we did ourselves a great disservice by watching them back to back to back to back to back. Granted,
Yeah.
Straight Story was quite different than the rest of them, and that was the only one he didn't write. Is that correct? Like the screenplay wasn't by him.
Yeah, it wasn't by him. That was when he's like, I need to tell this story. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, So yeah, he definitely didn't write it. It might also be his only Disney movie.
That also wouldn't surprise me.
Oh man, I want to see him do like Frozen. Well, we can't now, but it would be fun to see him do like a princess Disney movie.
His interpretation.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I don't know. I knew I liked a handful of John Carpenter's movies. For some reason, Halloween I had never seen before, even though I like a lot of horror franchises. So this is nice. This is fun for me.
Yeah. I think I've seen like cuz we were talking yesterday. Yeah, guys, we actually met in person.
Gasp.
I know. We're friends, but not only on the internet. Even though it's the first time that we've met that wasn't PAX Unplugged or or yeah, that was the only other time that we ever met.
Yeah, because I think we both have been to PAX East, but we didn't meet.
Yeah, like and if we did, it was like we didn't know each other at that point. Like learned of each other, I think, a month after East, but I think we were both at the same East.
That makes sense. And I didn't get a chance to go to South before they stopped hosting it. And I think that's where a lot of the rest of the group all met up and hung out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, South was really nice. I understand why they closed South, but at the same time, I kind of and I think that was my favorite one. Like that wasn't. I think that was one of my favorite cons to go to because it wasn't just like a flood of people, and it felt like you could breathe while walking on there and actually talk to. It was also, I think, very indie focused.
Okay, so for as far as like money, blah blah blah, it wasn't. Yeah,
it was definitely a money situation. And San Antonio, I don't know. I think they were also doing some other changes, but hey, that's what businesses got to do. But we were talking about a little bit about Halloween yesterday, probably to the confusion of some of our partners, at least mine. But I was saying like, yeah, I realized while watching this, I think, and I'll probably mention it when we get to Spoiler Town, of yeah, I watched the Rob Zombie remake, and don't think it's as good. I think there's some things that are okay, but let's just say it was definitely a movie of the time, rather than. Oh, there is a dark mode on this website.
This whole time.
I was just like clicking on it, like looking at it, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit more because it's almost shot for shot, but then it's got like Rob Zombie's flair, and it's not my particular jam. But yeah, this is the first time I think watching Halloween. I have seen clips of the movie, but but yeah, we can.
What's his directorial style? What are his key things?
The top 10 according to Critic Film. The first one is cinematic atmosphere. Yeah, they're definitely. I'm just summing up this paragraph where it's just like they are known for having immersive atmospheres, crafts tension through lighting, framing, and set design, which that was something we were talking about yesterday as well. Like some of the just unsettling kind of feelings that we'll talk about. Iconic scores, which I guess that is a benefit when you have a screenwriter and a musician doing that. Because it's like, I think I never watched Halloween, but I know Halloween's song, like the music, main theme. Yeah. And then I think a movie, is that what we're watching next week? Yeah, next week's theme they're saying is also very iconic. So I'm like, I know I haven't seen it, so I'm like, okay, this will be interesting to see if I've heard this song. But yeah, the music definitely is recognizable and just fits the tone. Strong protagonists. Pretty much they are resourceful, resilient, and memorable, embodying the spirit of surviving against all odds, which, yeah, especially with this one. Taut suspense. He's a master. I don't know why he pluraled masters, but master suspense. But yeah, no, I would say there was definitely tension. Like, I don't know. I think it's really interesting coming from Lynch, of like just so much like what you're seeing on screen is so unsettling, but with this, just this movie alone, it's you can, in its simplicity, also I feel it's like, oh, like what's happening? Even like what this came out in 78, I think.
Yes, I think I
Yeah.
have the IMDb up. Yep,
And
1978.
yeah, so that's, yeah, so what, that's 30, 40, that's getting close to 50.
Oh, yeah, that's wild. But yeah, and it holds
No,
up.
it would be over 50. No, it will be 50 in a couple years.
Yeah.
And it's like 40 something. Oop. Oh, this one I definitely agree with, because I thought there was scenes in here that were challenging some of the stuff that comes out now. Innovative camera work, where it's just, yeah, his use of wide shots, long takes, inventive framing techniques to, like, yeah, just make this visual impact, which I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about some of the stuff that was going on. Practical effects mastery. So this is before CGI, so he had to rely on practical effects, which to bring the vision to life. So yeah, I think there's like this time period, like the 70s, 80s. I feel like in the 90s is when like kind of more CGI was getting
The earlier adoptions. Yeah.
Yeah, and so some of it's fun, but it's like I do think we lose a lot. Like, yeah, they save money on not having to do a bunch of laundry, but then they spend it all on computer. Genre blending. He blends genres like of horror, elements of horror, science fiction, and action to his films. Yeah, so it's not just a horror, or yeah, I would say this one would kind of be like a horror or more thriller action.
Yeah. Because the way that the tension builds in it, like,
Yeah.
you know, like you said, one of his signature keys definitely plays a really strong role in how the movie feels in its entirety. Because, yeah, I think I was surprised because I'm aware of what Halloween was, and then watching it all put together, I was like, it's a much more unsettling movie than I had anticipated, especially because like coming off of, I think the only other like direct slasher that we've watched for the podcast is Texas Chainsaw, and that one doesn't give you a lot of time to feel tension. You just feel like, uh-oh, how they gonna get her? How they gonna get this one?
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Like, oh, she jumped out of a 3-story window. Yeah, so social commentary, which the examples they give are movies on our list, specifically the later half of this month. So I'm not going to go into them, but he's able to blend kind of some social commentary with art, so that way which I think, some personal opinion, some stuff in media today loses the feeling where it's not just blasting in your face, but it's like, no, you got to think through it a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, I could see from what I know, well, the last movie, hint, everyone, we have watched it for the podcast.
Gasp. Multiple years ago now.
Yeah. Well, you can't give them that much. They might go back and listen to our old content. Yeah, so it's definitely social commentary, like, of that one. They were saying, like, where, there's more stuff that meets the eye, and one of the ones on here is, like, dangers of unchecked, as they say, consumerism. I think that's our third week. So, which probably gave it away. You'll just have to find out. 9 is minimalistic dialogue, where he relies more on visuals and actions to convey his emotions and drive the plot forward rather than just sitting there talking. Which is a little bit different from some of the directors on the list. There's a couple I can think that rely more on dialogue than visuals, but excuse me, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that.
It's just as long as it fits in the context of the movie.
And signature visuals and symbols, which, yeah, just in Halloween alone, it's just the mask and the knife. It's like, yeah, that's old Mikey. And there's other stuff. Like, looking through his list of movies, I'm like, he has a lot of, like, iconic ones that, like, I didn't even realize. Like, there's some on here that are on my list to watch that, like, we're not watching just because we had to choose 4. Like, and most of them are on my, like, all the ones we were watching, it's like, oh, I wanted to watch or get to it, but it's like there's other ones like I think Christine was also one that I was interested in watching, which didn't make our list this time, but hey.
Oh, is that the Stanley Kubrick, or not Stanley, Stephen King book turned movie?
Possibly. There's a lot. Yes.
Okay. Evil Car.
Yeah, and like I heard good things about that. I'm not going to mention some of the other ones because they were on my list and we are watching them. So, but that's interesting. He's still making a movie. Like, he just had a movie come out in 2010. The Ward. Oh, I remember hearing about that. So, I don't know anything about it, but so, and it looks like kind of like the same as Lynch. He uses a lot of the same kind of actors and collaborators.
That's
They have this on his Wikipedias. Except for The Ward. It doesn't have anybody.
You did say that one's a bit newer, so.
Yeah. But, shall we roll some dice?
Dice. So that we could give a short summary of the movie and then ask each other questions in case it's anyone's first time here. To explain that further, we have 12-sided dice since through this year we will have watched 12 directors. We're on 10 out of 12 already.
That's crazy.
Yeah, time is zooming. Whoever rolls highest gives a non-spoiler short summary, and then we'll start off discussing the movie with some questions without any spoilers. And then we will go to Spoiler Town, and you will be warned.
I will say, like, we do say it's crazy, and it's like we're month 10 out of 12. I do think out of all the things that we've done, I think I really liked this series.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and not to say, like, controlled is the word, but, like, I don't know. It's nice to kind of know what I'm getting into because we've pre-planned it so far.
Yeah, but it's like that, but then I don't know, it's like I think a good example is the A24, because like that one was like we had that one all planned out before we started, but it was like a little bit difficult to be like, okay, we know what's next, like we know what movies are coming next, but like for most of them we haven't watched before, and so it's like all we can go off of is like the short synopsis that we read online. And then sometimes it fits, sometimes it didn't. Like I would say the A24, the majority of them were good. I think there was like maybe like a handful, and it felt like there was like a pocket, at least for me, that I'm like, they were okay.
There was, there were like a handful of movies that were back to back that made us go, you know what, we tried our best to pick the popular ones.
Yeah.
But there were some movies in there that were really, really good, so it's a toss-up.
Yeah, and so like that was good, but then I think like right after that, I think that's when we did Gravity Falls, and it was like Gravity Falls was fun to watch, but then it was like I think like the first third, or like the first fourth quarter of that series, like we're like yeah, and then it was like, oh, okay, and like
How much
our
more can we contribute? Yeah.
yeah, it's like okay, what now? And so I think that was that 2 years ago. But then, yeah, but I don't know. I know that we had like kind of shorter series like in between, but I'm like, this was like, you know what? This is a gamble, like, where it's like, hey, if we're gonna commit to this, and like we both were down for it. It's like, but it's like let's make sure we have any directors, and it's like, okay, if there's like, I have no problem throwing this director under the bus, like Wes Anderson. It was like, I don't know if I can watch anymore, but it's like all we got to do is get through like 1 or 2 or 4 more weeks, and then we're done. So like if it's like I think it's nice where it's like we get to get a big like a I guess a bigger picture of some of these directors and how they do their films. But but then at the end it's like yeah, if it's we're not feeling them like month one.
We
with
move on to the next. And
yeah.
we haven't put any directors back to back that feel too similar, so it does feel kind of fresh each month.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, why did we put Lynch then? And I was like, that's right, because it's the start of Halloween. And now we are in Halloween, and I rolled
Which dice was it this week?
stinky cheese because it's dark in my apartment and it's very bright.
All right. I know you've gotten to give the summaries the last 2 weeks. How's it looking for you this week?
It's a very middling roll, an 8.
Oh, that's still better than me. I rolled a 5.
Oh, I'm having a comeback, and now that I said that, it's going to be a hop-focused Jim Maru. Okay, so quick synopsis of Halloween. We open up to there's the very opening. Essentially, Halloween is a Michael Myers who's a mental patient who pretty much has been, I think that said like, what, 18 years or 15 years?
15 years. He's
Yeah.
watched him in that room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it says it right there. Where he escapes and goes back to his hometown and proceeds to stalk some teenagers that are being very sinful and was keeping up good morals. He's like, no sex on my watch. No premarital sex for you, teenagers. No. Well, yes, but he but yes, he goes and stalks and goes through a murder spree as we watch mainly follow another teenager, Laurie Strode, as she is like just kind of watching from the outside and seeing the effects and eventually having to take action. And I feel like that's, I don't know. Do you feel
The least
it's a
spoilery
slasher?
way. Yeah.
It's a slasher. There's not much plot in a slasher, but there's a lot of cool scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good enough. So then, questions for you. If this was the only movie you watched by John Carpenter, would you watch the rest of his catalog?
Yeah. Yeah, I know we were talking a little bit about it yesterday, but there's some like imagery that they use with like some camera tricks and all that stuff that I think rival a lot of movies that are coming out now that have like better cameras, more staff, more money, and I just like I shouldn't say better staff, larger staff. That it's I think Halloween is just the premise is simple and the goal of it is simple, and with that I guess like the limitations of the time just allow some very neat things to happen. I think what like in the very beginning, like the because I think we see this a little bit in Black Christmas, where we have like a POV kind of shot of a person.
We have watched another slasher on the podcast.
Oh, it's Black Christmas.
Yeah, that's gotta be a slasher.
Yeah. What was
that?
I wasn't
Texas
thinking of that
Chainsaw.
one. What was? Oh yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas. Which I think Black Christmas came out around the same time.
I believe so.
But yeah, the whole like kind of point of view that we have of a person in the very beginning, I thought was done very well. And it's like, and then when it's revealed, like whose point of view you're seeing through, it's like, oh. So,
The reveal was like,
yeah.
oh, that's not fun.
I was like, this is oh. So, but like that in itself, like the way they shoot that, I think it also subverts expectations of just like height difference. So, but yeah, no, that like that alone, it's just, I love when directors and their crew get very creative with camera stuff.
Yeah, especially
And
with
there's,
like the mask over the camera lens, where you're like, okay, unfortunately, I have to be the bad guy. I don't want to do these bad things, but
Yes.
I'm forced into that lens. And yeah, I can talk about that more later. But I agree. I really enjoyed this. And yeah, there's a lot to be said about just the overall creativity, because, like you said, for the times you go, oh, it's an older movie. They must have like, maybe it's cheesy, maybe it's hammed up, because there are some older films. Especially older, like lower budget films, where you're like, oh, I can see the doll, or I can see like, you know, the blood packet and things like that. But no, this one, it is interesting where they note that he's really good at lighting. Not only was he good at lighting to set a mood, but he was good at lighting to make it like you feel like you're in a dark house, and you only see enough to where you're like, I don't like that. Which,
Yes.
yeah, all in the theme of the movie.
Yeah. The mask coming out of the darkness, and it's like, well, I just pooped myself.
How much did you root for the characters? You can choose.
Michael
pick and
Myers?
choose.
Yes.
Evil incarnate, my man.
He was just looking out for good morals. No, without me realizing it, because like normally I don't really like root for characters, because I'm just like, I'm here for the story. Like, and when I think about it, I was like, yeah, I was like liking that, even though, like every week it's like, but Itisdpayne, you say that you root for a character, and it's like, it's like I don't realize, like it's more like, was there anyone I was kind of hoping in there? But I think actively in this movie I was rooting for Laurie. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, which is the whole point, but it's just, there's like,
It's written well enough that you're like, without thinking about it, you automatically go, oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I remember in the very beginning, I was just like, man, I hate her friends.
yeah. Well, and I think there's a very interesting, I'll save that for Spoiler Town.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something that I was like, I wasn't expecting that in the scene for her
Okay.
character.
We'll
But
put
yes.
a little bookmark in that. But
Yeah,
okay.
we'll see if I remember.
Is there
in 20
anybody
minutes.
else you rooted for? Like any of her friends or the kids?
The
The doctor? The nurse?
I feel like the doctor was there for the nurse was just there to get like, hey, you know what a face hugger is? She showed up. She was the smartest one. She showed up for like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, I'm out. But I don't know. It's
Or the police officer dad? He's also a
Yeah.
character in it.
I feel like he didn't do anything. Just show up a couple times, like, hey, I was trying to find you. It's like, I felt like there was more they could have done with him with some of the things that happen in this movie, but that would probably also add another half hour, which I think this is like
The perfect.
a perfect
Kind of, yeah.
chunk of time. But no, I think I know how to put this. I was rooting for Laurie, but I was also rooting for Michael. Not so much that he was winning, but I really liked watching them confront each other. And it's just like someone who has to be like, who is trying to watch out for the kids and trying to stay safe and like is doing everything she can, to someone who just literally doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And I think that whole, which is probably why there's 13 films and a whole video game that's based off of this. I was like, as I was watching this, I'm like, this is Dead by Daylight.
Whoa, you did it.
Yeah.
You made the connection.
Yeah.
It's okay. I recognized the one house, the Myers house, and I went, oh, that's the map in DVD. And so I was like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, I was sitting there, I was like, when it's near the end where they're like going up the one, like, I didn't realize like until like the camera was cutting back and forth that Laurie and her friend were just babysitting across the street. I'm like, it's like, because the way they made it sound like there was a little bit of distance, and then she's like, I can just look out the window and she's there. But it's just, yeah, I didn't put that together. And then like as we were getting a little bit more, and I'm like, oh wait, I run around like a giant coward in this map.
I know this house. I haven't been to this house, but I know this house.
Yes, I know this. I've been here. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, Laurie was very easy to root for, and I feel like it surprised me in terms of, not that she's not a likable character, but that she was likable off the bat. Mm-hmm. And I think I really appreciated the way that the movie builds up into everything, where you get to actually meet the characters before the bad things happen. Because I feel like I've watched, like, oh yeah, I guess Pearl and X are also kind of slashery, and you know, and it tries to flip it, but it doesn't really. And that one, like, we
watched
don't
more slashes than we thought.
Yeah, in hindsight, but we don't really.
Sorry,
just
I'll
horror.
stop being distracting.
But we don't really get a chance to care about any of the characters. I feel like they wanted us to between those two movies. Mm-hmm. But the way that they were written, granted, I did like, which one's the origin story? I did like that one a little bit more than the
Pearl.
Pearl. I did like Pearl more than X, because yeah, X is that very classic, like, more like Friday the 13th or things like that, where they're in the situation and then things just start going wrong immediately.
Yeah.
And
then there's Maxine, which I have no desire to watch.
I forgot, that's the one where she's made it, right? She is an actress in that one.
Yeah.
Or there's another, I forget.
Remember. I don't know. I haven't watched it. I have no desire to watch it, but I know it takes after X.
Okay. But yes,
I'm a star.
We get the like, you just get like a lot of like creative deaths in it, kind of, and whereas in this you have a lot more time to just kind of follow her around in like a normal setting, but it almost makes it creepier because it does the thing that, like, I'm sure, especially at that time period with a lot of the stuff going around in the news of like there were serial killers and everything. Mm-hmm. That were infamous around this time, where it seems like a normal neighborhood, she seems like a normal girl, and it seems like unwarranted, and then everything goes wrong, rather than just them going like, by the way, this is a normal neighborhood and she's likable, and you're like, how do I know she's likable? But they do the whole setup where she's the only nice person in the friend group, she's the only one that really babysits, she's the only one that's like, even though like I was looking at the actors, I was like, they look kind of old to be in high school. And Starter's like, Starter's like, they're actively drinking and smoking. I was like, you know what? You're right. They could be teenagers, and they just are actively drinking and smoking. But she's also the only one that's like, she feels like a teenager because she's embarrassed about a high school crush. She's worried about like her grades in school. Like, she feels like a very normal person. Mm-hmm. And then she has these negative influences around her. One, you have the main antagonist who's gaslighting her, where she's like, I saw a guy around the bush, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, no. Which helps layer on the paranoia, because, like, you know. So yeah, I rooted for her. I agree that the fights between them were very good scenes, but I don't know if I could say I rooted for him. I guess I could say, like, it was satisfying to see, how it kept, like, even though it felt like he was never, they would never win against him, the tension still felt high enough where, the characters are like, oh, I'm okay. And it's like, oh, no, nothing's ever okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I hated the doctor.
Yeah.
I was hoping, like, something about his attitude where he was just like, I have every answer. Turns out I was wrong, but I still have every answer.
Yeah.
So,
He was just there to, like, drop lore, and then that's why we don't see him. Like, we see him, like, maybe 5 times in the movie, and it's just like, yes, Michael, he was a troubled youth. I hate him.
either
Let's
that
shoot
or to
him.
scare children.
Yeah. I liked that part.
But yeah. Yeah.
His
and
heart
then,
was in the right spot.
and I think I rooted for the young boy. Because he clearly,
Oh, yeah.
he feels like Laurie adjacent, where he's just like, no, I see it. And then she's like, no, no, no. Kids are just scared on Halloween all the time. And he's like, please, somebody listen.
Yeah. There's something I do want to bring up in Spoiler Town about some of their interactions.
All right. So then, what grade would you give the plot?
This is always the one I struggle with the most, this whole question, because it's like, I think it's a good question. It's just like, I never really think about it. Because it's like, I think the plot is very basic. It's not like it's, like the film as a whole is very enjoyable. So, but yeah, I think, yeah, the plot and everything, I give it a B.
Yeah, I think that's where I land as well, where it's almost because it's a very like simple premise that it was done like just right. Because there
Mm-hmm.
are ways to do this premise and do it completely wrong, but I don't know. I really like how it's all put together.
Yeah, I think it's in its simplicity, it makes it very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think the Halloween's a series that it was supposed to be different creatures, like, or like not creatures, but like a different threat every movie. And then everyone complained in the second one, or just like, what the heck? I think it's the second one, because it was like witches. Oh, that's the third one, Season of the Witch.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think Halloween 2. Yeah, it's like the continuation of Halloween 1. And then yeah, and then that's yeah, and it was supposed to be like different threats every time, which is why Halloween 3 is Seasons of the Witch. And then everyone complained, and which makes sense. And then 4, it says the return of Michael Myers. Like, hey, we gotta spell that out. And then
Come back, watch the movie. We promise.
and then there's Halloween 5, the revenge of Michael Myers. And then 6, they stopped numbering them. The Curse of Michael Myers. That came out in 95. And then my favorite title here, Halloween H2O, 20 years later.
Water time.
Yeah. And then Halloween Resurrection, which I think I remember seeing trailers for that. Yep. And then there's Halloween 1 and 2 by Rob Zombie. I can't remember if I watched both of them or not. I know I watched the first one. And then
Yeah, I don't think I've watched the remakes, but you said you'll discuss them once we get into Spoiler Town.
yeah, I'm like looking up the second one real quick to see if I did see it or not. I don't think I did. But yeah. Any poops.
All right, so yeah, we both agreed on B's, and then final question, so then we can get into Spoiler Town. How likely would you recommend this movie to others?
I would. Very much. I know it's like I should be giving a letter grade every here, but I always just say yes or no. Yeah, I think this was definitely a good movie to... I don't think it's... As a thriller, I don't think it's... would cause a lot of like the, I guess, complaints they hear about horror movies now, where it's like too gory and bloody, or it's too scary. Like, because there is some scary stuff happening, but it's not like an intense like scariness. And
Yeah, it's not shock for shock factor's sake. It's
yeah.
like it's built into the tension of the movie.
So I think yeah, I do think this is a movie worth watching. Like, I think it's also brings in more, whatever it's called, brings in some more my brain is erasing what I wanted to say. It does bring, I guess, more of this like horror history, and I think it's a very easy way to, it's a very easy movie to watch.
Yeah, and I think it's I'd agree. It's easy to recommend to people, and I also think it's a great one to watch with people, because I think that's another thing that I think I underestimate when I think about how much I like a horror movie, where there is something fun about experiencing it with someone else, because there is like that, I don't know, like describing the sensations you get watching a good horror movie aren't something you can just like say to somebody else. You kind of have to like be there together. It's kind of like riding a roller coaster with somebody else. And yeah, I think this is a great one to watch in a group with X amount of people, because I know you said before in your ratings you would also consider it that way with like, would you rewatch it? Would you rewatch it with friends? Would you recommend it solo? I think for this, yes to all of them. I don't know. It's just a good watch. It,
Yeah.
it's respectful of your time, which I complained about with the last movie we watched. That was, oh, that was a long movie. Respectful of your time. There's not a lot of heads up I think I have to give people in terms of like what they're getting into. Because I know some movies we've watched, we're like, that's a good movie, but it's really sad or it's really niche. But this one's just, I don't know. For it being a horror film, I think it's doesn't have like a niche audience. I think it's just a good movie.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, I've heard people like our age, I know people, older people have that like that I work with have talked about it. And like, yeah, I think it's just a well accepted movie. And watching the trailer on silent for Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie, I was like, yeah, I didn't watch that, and there's a reason.
Gotcha. So, are you ready for Spoiler Town? We did yap a little bit longer than we usually do for this beginning portion.
Yeah, well, we normally go, I always feel like we do a little bit longer when we got to bring in the, kind of go through the whole,
kind of intro to the director.
yeah. And instead of watching the trailer, I should have brought up the timer, which is right here. Bada bing, bada boom. That's bedtime. There we go. One of these days I'll learn how to use my new phone. All right. Starting the train. We're getting on the train. Toot toot to Spoiler Town. Oh, wait. Do we want to tell them what we're watching next if they want to get off now?
Oh, yeah. If you don't want to be spoiled for Halloween, next week we will be watching Escape from New York.
Yes. The theme song I don't know, but apparently is iconic. All right. I'm hitting the timer. Prepare your butts for we're going to Spoiler Town in 3, 2, 1. Toot toot. Psh. I imagine it's a steam engine.
Beautiful. So yeah, we have multiple things that you've brought up that you wanted to bring up. So just so we don't forget, Rob Zombie version, the interactions with the young boy and like the babysitter and things like that, and then what was the third thing you wanted to bring up?
Oh, her interaction with her friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about the movie first because I'm not really all that interested in talking about the Rob Zombie stuff. We can save that for the end if we have time.
Okay.
But yeah, so first things first, I think talking about we'll talk about her interaction with the friends and then we'll go into, because that I know that won't be very long. But I thought it was an interesting character choice because I feel like maybe just movies today, when they show that someone's like, I guess like the Laurie Strode is like kind of her whole character is like kind of being innocent and be just like, no, I'm focusing on school, not like doesn't go around date and do all that stuff. And yeah, so they have all that, and normally it's like, I feel like when they do these characters that are supposed to be like the innocent one or the one who's just not into like all of the other things as her friends or the rest of like her age group is into, it's like it feels like it's forced that they like when they're like break their morals or whatever it is. Where in this one they're just driving in the car and yeah, I'm assuming it's weed that they're passing back and forth, and it's just like her friend's just like, here, and she's like, okay, whatever, and takes it like it's not much of a struggle. She's just like, yeah, whatever, and she's like dying while she's taking it. But it's like, I thought that was like really interesting, where it's just like it's just like, yeah, here you go, pass it back and forth, and then the other thing is like that was kind of cracking me up, where it was just like because like before my previous apartment, I never was around people that smoked weed like a ton, so I never recognized the smell. But I had not a roommate, another tenant there who smoked weed like a ton, to where I could smell him before I could see him, and or like when he wasn't there, I'm like, oh, yep, I know he was here recently. To the part where they're like, I'm like, if it was weed, and they're like, oh, my dad, quick, and they're just like, wave the smell out of the car. I'm like, there's no way that smell's gone. Your dad knows what you're doing.
They didn't even roll down the windows, really.
I know. It was just like, throw it out. Okay, cool. Just play it cool, as like Laurie's literally dying.
Yeah. Coughing up like all of it, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was interesting, where it wasn't even, because I feel like in a lot of movies I've seen, it is like a big scene where it's just like, we know you don't do this, and it's like this confrontation, like not even like a big confrontation, it's just like the peer pressure and all that stuff, where, and this is just like, yeah, you want it? Yeah, okay. And just like, they're just doing it, and it's like not even that big of a deal, but it's very obvious that she doesn't smoke.
Yeah, it's not her normal.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that whole thing was interesting, and not like, oh, it's time for the peer pressure of the nerd. So I didn't think that was just like a scene that's like just kind of in there that I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I do like that now that you mention it. She does, it's a very like, it's not like it's glossed over, but it's still kind of one of those moments where she's like, oh yeah, she's still hanging out with friends. She still is gonna try the things that they do because she wants to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can imagine the other like young adult films where they're like, all you do is read books, and they basically like hold them down, drink your first sip of alcohol, and it turns into a whole thing. No! Yeah. But no, yeah, in this one, I think that also helps make the characters feel more grounded. Like I said, I didn't love her friends, but I could understand, you know, I went to high school. I went to a public high school.
You did?
I had plenty of people that were like this. I thankfully was just, I wasn't necessarily like Lori specifically, but I at least ended up finding people where I was like, yeah, I don't really drink. And they're like, okay, we're going to go drinking. We're not going to force you to go. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to stay home and play video games.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. It felt like teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Which also helps add to like the feeling of the way that the movie is set up.
Yeah.
And then poor Tommy, he's clearly like the little boy. He's clearly like a good kid, because it really does just open on him being like, can we carve a jack-o'-lantern? Can we watch a movie? Can we have a popcorn? And she's like, yeah, bud, I get paid to watch you. We can do whatever. Let's pass the time.
Mm-hmm. But that's a good segue into the other thing that I was thinking of, where it's like, for the whole like first half of the movie, Laurie is constantly seeing this person like in random locations, just staring at her for like realistically no reason. Like the only reason is that she put hit the key underneath the thing so that way people could look at the house later.
I know her
And
poor dad is gonna try and sell that house. I think he's screwed now, but you know.
no, he was smart. He showed up in one scene and never came back. He sold himself into a whole nother movie. But yeah, so but she's constantly being followed this whole movie, and it's just like telling her friends and telling other people like, I'm seeing this man, and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever, nerd. And not to that extent, but it's just fun to say. And
They
so
were bullying her a little
yeah, and like they're making fun of her and everything. And then it's like that night, like without even really giving it more of a thought, when Tommy's like, the boogeyman is outside. And it's just like, wait, I was literally seeing this dude the whole time. Maybe look into a little bit more. It's like, no, Tommy, they aren't real, dummy. It's like, go eat popcorn or whatever. Go hang out with this other kid I'm not getting paid to watch. And so I'm making her sound a lot more aggressive than she actually was. But it was just like, yeah, the whole time it's just like, he's like, he's out there. And she's just looking like, no. And it's just, what are you talking about? Just settle down, stop scaring. Like, I understand once he's like, stop scaring like the girl whose name I completely forget. But it's yeah, it was just one of those things that's just like that thought didn't cross your mind. Like, you've been seeing this person out of nowhere today, like all day, not just like once or twice, but it's just like in school, out of school, on your walk home. And then it's like to the point where you were kind of being a little bit concerned waiting outside for your friend to come and pick you up. And then once you're inside the house, it's like, let me just look into this a little bit more. I don't know. That was something I was like, man, she really quickly, like, and I could understand, like, teenagers say, okay, whatever, Timmy, or whatever your name is. Like, just shut up and watch the thing. Oh, no, that was at the other house.
She continued it.
Mm-hmm. So, but, yeah, that was one of the things I was like, was sticking out to me. I'm like, oh man, like, it's for movie sense, it works out really well because it's like, yeah, she doesn't know until it's like too late, but still it's just like no question at all.
Yeah, I mean, I took it as her being like, yeah, like on one hand, she's just like, because he brings up like the boogeyman earlier in the day, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, he gets really bullied, like his poor pumpkin in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then she just takes it from there, just says, well, it must just be the boogeyman. Like, you know, it's late, the plans have changed. And like you said, she also has a thing where she's like, I have to be the adult here because I'm the babysitter. I can't have all the kids being scared and running around, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where I could see why she's just like, no, let's move on. Because also she does peek out the window when he does, and it does the same exact thing that happened to her.
Yeah.
So if she wasn't so busy and getting annoyed by her friends constantly, because how many phone calls does she get from her friends making fun of her for babysitting? She gets like multiple calls from the one across the street, and then she starts getting calls from the one that brings her boyfriend over, and then she's like, well, sorry, I haven't heard from the first girl. She was just picking up the other guy. I don't know what else is happening. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, she's got the extra kid that's just like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to watch movies. And she's like, ugh.
It's like this, I don't babysit you. It is funny looking how like the kids that are being babysat, like how they almost mimic the person babysitting them.
Mm-hmm. It is funny, yeah, because the one girl's like, can you answer the phone for me? And she's like, I'm watching my movie.
Yeah. I'm stuck
busy.
in the wall. Like, oh my goodness. I was like, she should have died earlier. I'm stuck in the window.
Yeah, the little girl walking out there, she's like, you're stuck. And you locked yourself inside. She's like, wow, thanks. I had no clue.
Yeah. It was just like, that whole scene, like that whole, I'm like, how did she get hired to be a babysitter? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm just
Small
like,
town.
Small town, yeah. And it's just like, teens, and I'm just like, it's just like, oh man, I spilled sauce all over myself. Time to just strip in the middle of the kitchen. I'm like,
And steal the homeowner's clothes.
yeah. It's like, well, I guess in one sense, like, the stuff's gonna be cleaned, like, will be done before they're back. But still, it's like, what? Also, that would annoy me if I had to walk all the way across, like, a backyard.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I already go, oh, my laundry stuff's in the basement. Sometimes I don't get my clean laundry right away because I'm like, I don't live in an apartment anymore. It can sit in the dryer. I'm not, like, getting in anyone's way but my own. But the idea of having to walk to a separate building, ooh.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like, connected either. It was, like, a full sidewalk through the backyard.
Yeah, it was, like, the full like, the backyard away. I'm just like, oh, okay. We have advanced as a people.
Yeah, but, and then I wanted to bring up that I just really, I think I liked that this one didn't feel like the kind of movie where adults didn't know what they were doing and it was forced to happen to the kids. Because there are some of those, like, horror movies where they're like, we're smarter than the adults, we have to solve all the problems. In this one, nobody knew what was happening at all, and everyone was equally confused and lost. And I think that that really played into it, where you have the professional doctor who's like, I know everything that there is to know about him. It's like, maybe you do, but sometimes, like, you can't predict the patterns of what people are going to do. Because he set his sights on, like you said, Lori, all she did was drop off the key to his former home. And then I also I know we talked about this yesterday, where, and I guess this could lean into what you discussed about, like, really liking how some of the shots were done, is I felt anxious being in the perspective of Michael Myers. In the beginning half of the movie, we have there's like one really extended scene, or there's like one or two scenes. It's the opening scene. Yeah, there's the opening one, but then I felt really anxious when he was driving in his car, and we were forced to sit in the car with him, and I was like, I don't want to be in this car. I don't want to be this guy. And then all we see is just a very distant shot of one of Lori, and then one of is his name Tommy, or am I just? Like,
I'll look it up.
It is Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's the one where after Tommy got bullied. I did laugh at him bullying the bullies. Where he just shows up in his outfit and just grabs the kid's arm, and the kid's like, what?
It's just like, okay, bye.
But yeah, I was like getting like the heebie-jeebies being stuck in the car. I was like, no, that's a young boy. Let him walk home from school.
Yeah.
Can you turn off the road now?
I forgot about that until you mentioned it. And it was just like, hello, child.
Yeah, and the running joke is, so like Dpayne said, we met up in person the other day. And instead of saying, hey, we're right at the entrance of the place we're supposed to meet, he took a picture of me and my partner and sent it to us. And I was like, it doesn't help that I just watched Halloween, and this is, it feels like the car scene.
Yeah, well, it was funny because, my partner, and, like, we saw you guys, and, like, we were still a distance away, and we waved at you, and you guys just walked off to the side. And I was like, I think I was already taking the picture to send it to you before you took before you texted me. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, boop. Oh, okay. And I was like, it'll be funny. and then it was like the slow turnaround, and we're just like, hello.
But no, those shots were really, really creepy and unsettling.
Yeah.
Because it did feel like we were stuck in those scenes, like, a few seconds longer than I would have liked. But again, kind of the point of the movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was the whole chunking of it where it was like we talked about it earlier, like how he kind of plays with light and the setting and stuff, and that's when Laurie goes into the house, like she starts investigating, like, hey, the kids are asleep, let me go in there, which, to be fair, it doesn't, what Michael did, or as they call him in this movie, the shape, literally doesn't make sense for what, like, how he like kind of locks everything in the house and then gets to where he's supposed to be. But like when she goes in and sees that all her friends are dead, which, dude, Michael's stinking jacked. Like he, like just how strong he is. That's not a small headstone. Like headstones are stinking heavy as all get out. And he's just like, we don't see how he carried it, but he's just like, I just imagine he palmed it like a basketball.
I mean, like, he palmed the guy, basically.
Yeah.
In the other scene.
Yeah, well, like that, like the whole stuff that you're talking about with the tension, the there's there's a couple things if we have time for the Rob Zombie stuff. The similarities, but there was the whole like scene when she comes in and it's like she's about to open the door and I'm like, no, don't do it. And then I think she hears like a noise or something, and then like she walks into the living room and she's just like, hey nerds, what the heck you doing, stop fooling around. And it's like her face is like half in shadow as she like kind of walks out, and it's like already setting like, we don't see too wells. And then it has the reveal, like, I don't know, Michael is too creative with his reveals, because it's just like, first girl dead in bed, T-posing with her sister's like grave marker above her head, like on the bed, which that's a really strong bed. But anyway, that's a different thing. And then she like freaks out, rightfully so, backs up, and then boyfriend,
dangling.
Horny boyfriend falls from the ceiling, just like perfectly timed. And then like the door like slowly opens and it's like, here's the
your last friend.
Yeah. Just like crumpled up, shoved into a closet. And it's just like, oh. And then like she freaks out standing there, and like the way the shot is, it's like she's against the wall and the camera's kind of like pointed past her. Like we still see her, she's in the forefront. And then like out of the darkness, we just see Michael Myers' mask, and I'm like, that was a good shot. Like, because it's, I don't know, I don't think I watched really any of the other Halloween movies except for the Rob Zombie ones, but it's just like, I don't think he makes noise. He doesn't make noise in this one. And just I thought it was interesting how it's just like how quiet it is, and it's just and it's now at times when it's just like noise is so prevalent in films to accelerate or like
to get the heart rate going. Yeah.
And it's just like the silence just made it, if not the same, if not better, because it's just like all we hear, like especially at the end when like, oh, you got him, he's dead, and then it's just like, get out of here, kids, I need me time. Starts crying while waiting for them to get help, which I thought was hilarious. It's like go out screaming at the top of her lungs like, ah! But,
I did think it was so funny that the doctor was just walking down the street and was like, I did it, I found the house. And it's like, wow, cool, you found screaming children. Who else could have guessed that something might be happening? Did feel horrible. Felt so bad that Lori went to the neighbor, and the neighbor's like, stinking kids playing pranks, and like turned off all their lights.
To be fair, I probably do the same thing.
Especially in like the way that they set up the small town where nothing happens. Like all of the police force was looking at the robbery at the hardware store because they were like, oh, this is weird, this never happens. I also speaking of like that one whole scene with like Lori going in there, I really liked the way it was set up for him to kill that boyfriend. I made the joke that he palmed him like a basketball too. Yeah. But I've consumed a lot of horror media, and usually like even video games, I don't really get jump scared too often. But in that one, I was like, okay, Michael Myers is gonna jump out here. Oh, it's gonna happen here. And I was like, that's weird, the music's stopping. And then he jumped out. I was like, oh, he actually got me. He actually did it. Because the lighting and everything, at most you see is like a quarter of his mask, and you're like, I don't like that, I can't see it. I need to see that he's in front of me, or else.
Yeah, and then just I think it works so well that he's in shadow so much until the very end, where it's like you finally get like a good look at him. He's like, "That's just a dude with a knife," and then it's like, "Am I? I just got stabbed in the neck." It was like, "Fine, whatever," and then shot like and then she gets stabbed in the eye with a knife. Or no, the coat hanger. And then and then she gets the knife and I think stabs him. In I think like the gut or something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I go sleepies," and wakes up, gets a full like 6 to 8 rounds unloaded point blank into his chest, which I thought was funny. He's like, and then he just like flies out the window, falls a full falls like from a second story onto his back, is just crumpled in the ground, and by the time they go and check, he's like, "Yeah, I'll come back later." Which I guess if he got up from that, I guess it makes sense why the girl in Texas Chainsaw Massacre can get up and move. They were just built different back then.
They really were.
Built off of cocaine and alcohol. Maybe smokes.
Maybe smokes.
Head cheese. Or cheesehead, whatever they called it. Let's see, how much time do we got left? Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
I just started looking through some trivia, so
okay. Well, here
how
I
much
can go.
time?
We got like 7 minutes. I can briefly go through the Rob Zombie stuff real quick.
Okay.
So the Rob Zombie movie came out in 2007. I didn't watch the second one because I don't remember why, but it wasn't really broken up about it. But yeah, this one, I think they tried to, I guess, fill in the blanks a little bit of like that it kind of left open in the first in this Halloween, which like now after watching Halloween, I'm like, I don't really know, but there's stuff that is like almost shot for shot, but I think Carpenter's like does it better, where like I know in the beginning of the Rob Zombie movie they tried to be like show that like that evil behind his eyes and all that stuff, and more like psychopathic natures, and that to where it shows that Michael actually like killed a lot more of like pets that he had before he went and killed somebody, or so like yeah, so I can't remember because I only watched it once and it was back in 2007, and I can't remember if I think he does like he kills the pets, and then I think he still kills the person, like his sister's boyfriend, and I think they try to like paint it, but like play it off like, oh, he thought she was being attacked, but then it's like, oh wait, he also stabbed sister, and then also we found all your dead pets buried in the backyard, like, and like I don't know, just creepy things, like not creepy things, but just like that's messed up. And so,
was it more on screen?
Yeah, and so they do that, and I think it kind of cuts forward, but then I don't remember fully everything. I think there was probably scenes of him just kind of standing there following along, but the one scene that I remember being like shot for shot was the when he puts the blanket over his head and kills like the ghost, like when he kills boyfriend and girlfriend. But I think they moved it to being inside his childhood home. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go have sex in the Myers home because it's haunted, blah blah blah. Which I guess moving it away from I don't know. I guess nowadays that I guess makes a little bit more sense story wise. Like, we're literally going to go into this house, pretend to talk, and then go up into the first bedroom and just do the nasty. It's like, what do you guys do? Yeah, and it's like in there, and it's like almost shot for shot, where it's just like, get me a beer, like fine, whatever, and then like same thing, like gets killed all there, and then almost the same thing where it's just like the same thing is like, come on, why you just not talking, blah blah blah, all this, and then it's just like stabbies. But yeah, I also know that I remember the Michael Myers one. It's the Michael Myers one. The Rob Zombie one had a lot more, I guess, gore in it and stuff. But then, yeah, because there is nudity in this, but it's like in the first scene where we see his sister naked, like it's still covered a lot from the mask.
The mask, yeah, it's obscured, and even
Yeah.
the scene later with like after the two do it, like the bed sheets cover most of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like there's stuff like that where it's like Rob Zombie's like, now we're seeing it all, baby, and I'm like, cool, I guess.
That is kind of his shtick. Like I said, I've tried to watch Devil's Rejects, and I don't recall finishing it.
Yeah, so there's a reason why he's not on our yearly list. Mainly because I forgot he's a director. I like two of his songs. And when I say like, I remember listening to two of his songs.
I've seen him in concert. I think I have a hoodie in my cabinet from this. This was, I think, 2018 or so a little while ago.
Yeah. So was there any fun trivia that you saw?
So the movie was very low budget. The budget was about $300,000 and shot in 20 days, and went on to gross $47 million at the U.S. box office.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's a crazy like exchange rate. It does say that due to the film's tight budget, some things like they didn't really have a costume department. So one thing that they say in the trivia is Jamie Lee Curtis spent $100 at the time at a JCPenney for Laurie Strode's outfits to fulfill it. And then I think a lot of people already know this. Do you know what the mask is? Like Mike Myers' mask is from?
No.
Oh, okay. I've heard this trivia before.
I might have, I just don't remember it, but go ahead.
The
Inform me.
production designer at the time, he tried out different masks, and they ended up settling on a 1975 version of James Kirk, and they painted it white and dyed the hair, and they said that they went with that because I guess there was another one that was like a creepy clown mask, but they went with the final decision because they said the fact that it was fully emotionless from being painted fully white was like creepier for the movie, and I agree.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I saw one right here, which goes to something you mentioned earlier. Of all the female leads, all the girls were supposed to be in high school. Only Jamie Lee Curtis was a teenager, being 19 at the time of shooting.
Okay. I thought they looked a little bit older, but that checks out. Oh, I like this one. The dark lighting comes from necessity. The crew didn't have enough money for more lights.
Yeah, but it works.
It works.
Oh, this is cool. So Deborah Hill wrote most of the dialogue for the female characters, while John Carpenter concentrated on Dr. Loomis's speeches. So, yeah, it feels like Carpenter had like, here's the vision, and then maybe gave it to Deborah to be like, make the women feel believable.
Yeah, and it does also look like, speaking of the women characters, I didn't realize this, but the mother in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. So, like, the actress that played the mother in Psycho is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom.
Oh, in real life.
In real life.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Because I
I
think
don't remember seeing her character's mom in the movie.
yeah, because I think in one of the things it says that he felt like it was an homage to Hitchcock that he um, had her. So that's neat.
So apparently, Peter Cushing and Sir Christopher Lee were asked to play play Dr. Sam Loomis that Donald Pleasence played, but both turned him down due to the low pay. And yeah, Lee, yeah, so Sir Christopher Lee said it was the biggest mistake he ever made of his career.
Oop.
That would have been interesting to see him in that role.
Yeah.
But oh, yeah, okay, that, you know, that does make sense. Like where it's like it was shot in 20 days, but in the spring of 1978, which I don't know. It was one of those things while watching it. I was like, man, they don't seem to be really cold.
Yeah, they had the windows open for being in which state was it again? Was
Tennessee,
it
I thought, or
no? It starts
Massachusetts.
with an I.
Oh, Illinois.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
We got there eventually. You're smart. uh, yeah. So, but yeah, there was parts in there where it does, like, I don't know, it still fits the vibe, but at the same time, like while we were watching, it was like, well, I was watching, I was like, did it rain between takes? Because it's like, I know in one scene they're just walking, and then it's like she's walking up to the house, and the whole like ground is wet and everything, and I'm like, what happened? uh, oh, okay. So here's something else, that a young Jamie Lee Curtis was so disappointed with her performance that she became convinced she would be fired only after the first day of filming. When her phone rang that night. It was John Carpenter. John Carpenter called her that night, and she thought it was going to be the end of her movie career. Instead, Carpenter was congratulating, telling her that he was like very happy with how things gone. And so, yeah, it's interesting. Just like, I don't know. I feel like we don't see here a lot of those behind the scenes thing where it's just like the like I didn't feel confident. Oh, I was right about to ask this as well. But yeah, this was Jamie Lee Curtis's first feature film.
Oh. Yeah, I think I saw something else that she was on break from like a TV show or something when she filmed this. And for them to fit it in 20 days, checks out.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter did not film any of the following Halloween movies.
Yeah, I didn't see that earlier.
He did do screenwriting for Halloween too.
That makes sense. Let's see. Is there spoiler trivia? Because there's apparently a lot of trivia about this. To this day, one of the most frequent things that people say, or I guess the correct way to write this, ask Jamie Lee Curtis about this film is, why did you throw the knife away? Oh, and they have a body count here. So there's Judith Myers, unnamed truck driver, 2 dogs. There was more than one?
I think there's the implied dog when he's a kid. Because remember the. Or no, there's the implied dog when they first go back to the Myers' old house because they say, oh, there's just a dog here. Who could have done it? And they don't show anything on screen. It's when the police officer and the doctor are like, we got to camp out the house. He wouldn't go anywhere else. He's only ever going to be in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second dog is the German Shepherd.
Yeah. And then Linda, Bob Sims, and Annie. So, anyway, is there anything else that we want to say about this?
Good movie.
Yeah, go watch it, you nerds.
And yeah, next week we continue our John Carpenter watch, and Escape from New York is up
Yes.
next.
If I thought ahead, I would be like, and here it is, but it's over there. So, yeah, I gotta find out how long that is, and that'll be literally next Sunday's watch.
Oh yeah, in time for our next meetup.
Yep.
Yes.
So, ooh, stretching. That feels nice. Anyway, thank you everybody for hanging out and talking about Halloween. Let us know. Did you guys watch Halloween? What do you guys think of it? Did you watch any of the other ones? I will say I am interested at least watching the second Halloween. I think the second Halloween, since it's a continuation. So who knows? Next year's prompts be something, but it might come up. We'll see. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Let us know what you thought about Halloween, and we'll see y'all next time.